everyone, welcome back to another moon update. Today we do have a new moon in the sign of Aquarius. I'm super excited to get into these cards to see what messages Spirit would like to impart to us today. My intention is always for these messages to be of the highest good, of the highest vibration, from the highest streams of consciousness that are available to us, our angels, our ancestors, to put us more into alignment with our highest path and to positively impact our lives and provide guidance, love, support for us at this time. So, how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? You already know. I'm interested. I'm curious. I want to know. How are these times treating you? For me personally, it's been kind of same old, just staying on track, doing what I do. I've definitely been receiving so many messages and so many downloads these past couple of days. That's why I want to just get into the cards right away, just to get some direction of what Spirit wants me to talk about with you guys, with those of us that are here tuned in, what's going to be the most beneficial for us to hear right now, to contemplate, what they want to highlight for us to think about, and possibly for us to start integrating. So before I get into that, let's talk a little bit about this Aquarius energy. For me, Aquarius is a very logical sign. It's, very mind-oriented. It likes facts, data, scientific proof, and evidence to back up its claims, which, as we know, is very necessary. It's very needed. I actually really love this energy. When it's being applied correctly and in a healthy way, it's very advancing, It wants to push us forward. It's concerned with the future, with making things better, creating solutions. And it's not afraid to go against the grain, to go against the narrative, to see things from a different perspective, and to push for what's new, like a new way to do things that's going to be more beneficial, that's going to give us better results, and that's concerned with the betterment of all. So Aquarius is that energy that wants to help. And the way I think of it is it comes right after the sign of Capricorn. And in Capricorn, that's that slow and steady wins the race energy. That's that cultivating something over time. It represents that slow climb up the mountain. So it represents, mastery, achieving mastery over something. So whatever it is that you dedicate yourself to, that you cultivate, that you develop, when you get to Aquarius, it's time for you to then share the fruits of your labor, We're not meant to just keep all that goodness to ourselves. We're meant to share it, to share the wealth, to pay it forward, to share our findings, to share what it is that we've discovered works and can give us some good results. So yeah, Aquarius is definitely concerned with the scientific method. It can be concerned also with technology and bringing cutting edge solutions, innovations, and just, again, new ways of doing things that maybe are considered to be outside of the box, that are not considered to be super traditional, but they are coming through with the evidence, with that data to support their claims and to support what it is that they're bringing forward, these solutions that are here to help us all, right? To help us improve in some way, in some aspect. So again, beautiful energy, as long as it's being applied correctly, because our last moon update was actually all about that Leo energy, and Leo sits at the opposite side of Aquarius. So where we discussed that Leo is that heart energy, it's an energy that's very focused on the self, very focused on being courageous and brave to be yourself, to feel safe in being who you truly are, embodying your true authenticity, and, being able to validate yourself, love yourself, and boldly and loudly be who you are, as scared as you may be to do that. That Leo energy, that heart energy asks you to do it scared. That's what courage means, right? It means doing something that you might be afraid to do. It's bravery, being brave enough to do it, to show up, and to do that for yourself. Do that because you're prioritizing yourself and you're making yourself important. You're realizing that you are important and that in your life you come first, your heart comes first. Your heart is king. Your truth comes first. Your purpose comes first. Where on the flip side, Aquarius is, the mind, is that logical aspect where you are also, marching to the beat of your own drum, and you are also not afraid to be yourself, to be your true authentic self, but you're doing it for the purpose of helping the collective because you found some kind of like solution or something that can help a lot of people. And by being courageous enough to go against the grain and to present your findings, what it is that you've discovered, what it is that you've observed, what conclusions you've reached, and to put that out there in a way that's unique to you, you find your tribe, you find your soul fam, the people that you can help, or the people that will be interested in what it is that you have to say and what it is that you have to offer. Because Aquarius is also all about learning from each other, crossing into different fields, communicating, opening up that line of communication into different fields and helping each other so that we can innovate, we can find connections, because ultimately everything is connected and everything eventually connects and comes together in oneness. And this is something that me and my kids are really, really seeing right now. I mean, we've been seeing this. We've been, studying nature, and this is also seen in nature. But we recently, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've been studying the body, the human body. And this is something that's very, very prevalent when you're studying the body, is like how all of these different parts of the body, how they all come together and they work together. They all have their different functions and their purposes. They all have this order that each part is individually achieving, but then eventually it all comes together and all the parts connect to keep, our human bodies running and going and alive and functioning properly. It's truly fascinating to see, and I love seeing my children's fascination too when they are making these connections as well. Just today, my son, my 8-year-old, he was like, "Mom, who's behind this?" He just wanted to know, how is it so perfect? We were talking about the kidneys and, how the blood filters through the kidneys and the kidneys clean the blood and they hold on to the waste, and then they, deliver the clean blood back into the body, and the waste gets taken, to our bladder. And my son was just like, "Mom, how is it so perfect?" How does our body know? How did this happen? This order and the chaos. He was just so intrigued and so interested. The liver is another organ that's amazing. It's incredible to learn about it and all of the jobs that it does. And it's crazy, but also super amazing and mind-blowing that we have these intelligent machines, as our bodies that are just constantly doing all of these things for us, all on its own. And so that's what I mean. It's that Aquarian energy, it takes different fields. So it can talk to, the medical field. The medical field can come together with, maybe the spiritual field and see how do things connect? How are things, what corroborates? What evidence is it proving, is it creating to push for something that, again, may not be super traditional, but is worthwhile, is worth, looking at. I hope I'm making sense, but it's really amazing to see just how everything eventually comes together into one. And it's such a blessing to be able to make these connections with my children. It doesn't matter what we're learning. We could be learning anything, history, math, science, and, we can make these kinds of connections. And it just shows you that everything isn't just separated out into its own individual thing. Of course it is, but then it also all comes together into one. And I think that's when the magic happens, when you're able to see that connection, when you're able to see that oneness. Then you're able to see an order, a universal truth, natural laws, a natural order. And in that way, you can see how God works. You know what I mean? You can get to know God, and you can recognize alignment so much easier, You have that wisdom, that discernment to see the truth, to see down to the core of things, the undercurrent, you know? So yes, truly, truly a beautiful energy with so much potential. There's so much you can do here, so much you can tap into. And this is the new moon in Aquarius. So just see what comes up for you, because whatever may be kind of like sprouting and developing for you at this time, it has the potential to like fully come into bloom and fully develop in about 6 months' time when we have that full moon in Aquarius. Oh, baby, you scared me. Are you okay? My son decided to join us, so he's here with me in case, you know, you can hear him. But yeah, let's get into these cards. Let's see. What would Spirit like to highlight to us, to those of us that are gathered here that will stumble across this video, will be listening in? What does Spirit want to communicate to us? In what way would they like to support us at this time? Ooh, okay. That's an interesting card to come out right off the bat. Let's see. Oh, I dropped one. Okay, I'm getting messages, but let me just see what this card is that I dropped over here. Ooh, this is interesting. Purple. You like the flowers? Okay, so let me see here. This is interesting. Okay, let me pull some oracle cards. Power. Oh, you can't see that one. And sensuality. Okay, so let's see if I can put these here. And I'm going to pull one from this deck. I feel like a lot of this, we got sacred medicine. So I feel like the message that wants to come through today is a lot of it has to do with what we talked about last week. So I do encourage you guys to go watch that video of the Leo full moon, because we do have this Leo energy here. And it's actually the only major arcana, so it's holding a lot of weight. And again, like I said, Leo is that heart energy. So I think that there might be an imbalance of this energy here with the Aquarius and the Leo, and that access where, you know, we want to be logical. You know, we only want to focus on facts, on details, on scientific proof, evidence, on what's observational, what can be proven, you know, things that we can make sense with our logical minds, that we can put into categories, that we can say this is this, that is that, without truly funneling it through the heart space first. Remember, heart is king. Your heart is what holds the true wisdom, not your brain, not your mind. Your mind is blind to a lot of things. It doesn't have the full picture. It thinks it does, but it doesn't. That's why we have this, our heart, we have that emotional component. You're meant to funnel it through your heart first and then apply the logic to it. And your heart is connected to your truth, to your authenticity, to intuition, to something that maybe isn't directly observable. But again, it's that undercurrent. It's something that you feel, something that you connect to, something that you relate to. And it's not so black and white, you know, it's not just like put into this category of that's right and that's wrong. It invites nuance. It invites a little bit of that chaos, you know, but in every chaos there is an order. So it's up to you to be able to find that order in the chaos. And I just feel like here we are avoiding that part. It's like we're avoiding the heart. We're avoiding that little nudge, that little pull. that is guiding us to something that's emotional, that's pure, we kind of like think that that's not valuable. We put that to the side and we think that we don't need that we don't need to use that. And we only want to focus on facts and logic and, left brain stuff, and completely discount like your right brain. It's reminding yourself that you aren't like this singular organism, that you're an integrated set of systems and they're all working together. And I feel like when we discount that other side, there's something that you're missing. There's something that you're not incorporating. It's not integrated. It's completely cutting an aspect off. It's not talking to it. It's not connecting to it. So therefore, you can't make sense fully. You don't have the full picture. It's not the whole truth. You're not considering something that may be individualistic. You kind of have this like one-size-fits-all approach. But when you look at things from that light, it's like the uniqueness of you, of your heart, of who you are, it doesn't get tended to. So it is incredibly limiting, and you're really not solving anything. This is about structures. And it's so funny because one of my clients actually, she sent me an email and I had brought up structures in her reading and she wanted like a clarification. And I feel like it's coming up here. It's like structures are good, order is good, logic is good. Again, like I said, when applied in the right places, in the right amounts, when it's applied in a healthy way. We need, I love you, baby. We need structure. Structure does bring us like a certain amount of freedom when applied correctly. Structure can be a good thing. It is a good thing. It can be holy. But then there are those constructs that we hold on to, those old set of belief systems and perspectives that we have that can keep us stuck, that can keep us limited, that can keep us closed off to something bigger, to something greater. When we're ready to expand, that's what that spiritual transformation is all about. We need to become vulnerable and maybe not fully understand everything all of the time and just meet life where we're at and let it unfold and let us understand as life is teaching us. There's this saying that says we have to be able to sit at the feet of our lives and let life teach us. Let us be taught by life. Life is our teacher. And so we have to like meet life and let it unfold. And it's a process that we relate to. It's not something that can always just be like, categorized and put into like this black and, ooh, bless you, and put into like these black and white boxes. It's something that is just continuous. It continues to unfold. There is no right and wrong. We start learning there is no right and wrong, because what's right and wrong for one person may not be right or wrong for another person. It depends like where we're at, how we're oriented in our life. So like I was telling my client, one of the examples I gave her to clarify on what I meant by like, discerning which structures are good for us and which structures are bad for us. A lot of us, especially here in the West, I'm in the US, a lot of us here are taught, to just go based off of the facts, to go based off of like the numbers and statistics and the logic and all of these things. But we aren't really taught to like connect to our heart, to connect to our intuition, to connect to our purpose, to our truth, to our authenticity, to our individuality, and to tend to that. You know what I mean? Like every seed is not the same. Every plant doesn't need the same things. Like some plants need more sun than others. Some need more water than others. Some need different kinds of soil. Like we're not just one size fits all. And so when you have that approach of like, well, you have this like preconceived construct or perspective or viewpoint or belief system that's keeping you trapped and stuck in something that's limiting you and keeping you small. It's not letting you expand. Then you never learn how to connect to your heart. And then you lead this life that is completely unfulfilling and disconnected and, that feels empty because you never took the time to like consider a whole nother aspect, an aspect that is very real, that exists, that is here. And this is the problem. This is the problem. Like the fact that we're not taking the time to go where we need to go where it's important for us to go and where we're feeling nudged to go. But it's like, maybe we don't think it's important, or we don't want to look at that, or I don't know, it's like it has to do with power. What we're processing as power, what we think power is. We think power is not emotional. We got to stuff those down. We don't want to show that. We don't want to be sensitive. We don't want to feel. With the sensuality card, it's like we need to feel, but we don't want to feel for whatever reason. We think that's weak. We don't want to be vulnerable. We want to stuff that stuff down. We don't want to look at that. We think it's useless. It's not. Emotions are data. It's data. It's showing you something. It's telling you something. It's information. And when you don't want to consider it because of a certain kind of structure that you're in, a viewpoint, a perspective, a belief that you're in, that's a misalignment. And that's why there's this heaviness here, and there's this feeling of, exhaustion, and like feeling hurt and wounded, and like you're carrying a burden. The medicine is exactly where you think it's weak, exactly what it is you don't want to look at, exactly what it is you don't want to face, what you want to keep pushing down. That's where the medicine is. That's where you have to go, to your heart, to the heart space. This is where we find that inner strength. This is where we find our personal power, our presence. Otherwise, it's just a facade. It isn't real, Hold on, baby. This is where we truly will find our self-assurance and have self-control and believe in ourselves and find confidence within ourselves and be the heroes of our own life. Truly is when we can expand out of these structures. I hope I'm making sense, because I feel like this is an important message, and it's a big message, and I'm doing my best to kind of explain it. But if you watch like the Leo reading, I think a lot of it will make sense, because I talked a lot about this too in the Leo reading. But yeah, this is where you find the healing. This is where the medicine is. It's exactly where you don't want to go, where you think it's not valuable. You weren't taught to look here. You think it's weak. You don't want to feel this. You don't want to feel. But you have to feel. This is where you reach your intuition. You have to like unblock this part of yourself. It's important. It's an aspect that exists, so it's needed for a reason. It's there for a reason. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a heart. We wouldn't have emotions. It's there because it has a function to serve. It's part of the whole. And if you're cutting that off, then you're not whole, and there's something you're missing, and you don't have the full truth. You don't have the full picture. That's not the way that the universe works. That's not the way that God works. You're out of alignment. There's something here that isn't connecting. Spirit just wants you to come back into alignment and to see this truth and to see the importance of this, because this is what's missing. This is what's missing. And this is why, whatever difficulties you're finding yourself in, whatever hardships, whatever, you're finding that's a blockage, an obstacle, it's because you're avoiding this work. And it's because you weren't taught to like connect to your heart, or to value this, or to think this is important, or, to think it has a purpose, or that it's useful. But it is absolutely useful. You need to feel. Spirit needs you to connect to your intuition. This is how you will receive clarity. This is how you will know, again, develop that discernment, that wisdom, so you can know which way to go, what way is right for you to go, because what way is right for one person to go is not the way that's right for everyone to go. You have to see, where are you on the spectrum? Where do you fall? And what does your soul need? What do you need as an individual? And you go from there. But only you can do that. We each have to be able to do this for ourselves. It's a process that's going to involve us needing to go inward, to be able to see this truth, to be able to see this clarity. We need to learn this. We need to gather this kind of data. Is, what do I feel? How do I feel about this? Why is this coming up? And working through that and connecting to that, connecting to your feelings, to your emotions, and regarding that as useful, as data, as information, because that's exactly what it is. Emotions are giving you data about yourself. There's a certain something here that you're carrying, that you're holding on to, a structure, an order, some kind of belief, some kind of perspective that it's just not sustainable anymore. It's not sustainable, and you trying to carry it and hold it, and this be your foundation, this be where you're coming from. It's like that's what's heavy. That's why it feels so misaligned, because it's not truth. So it's something that needs to fall away. Yeah, baby. Almost. So yeah, I feel like this reading is definitely connecting again a lot with our last reading. So definitely check that out just to like get a more well-rounded message. But that's what it is. It's like we're denying our heart, our emotions, our, our vulnerable side, our side that's pure, that's true. We think it's weak. We want to be in control. We want to be in power. We're holding on to a certain construct that it's not working anymore, and that's why it feels so misaligned. And the truth, the medicine is in your heart. This is where the wisdom is. It's not in your mind. Both of them have value and both are needed. But when one of them is being choked out and cut out, there's a misalignment there. Something is out of balance. And so Spirit is just trying to like get us back on track, get us back into alignment, into balance, trying to have us consider the whole, all perspectives, all aspects. You can't just skip that part. That part is important. And that part is what holds the answer. And that part, it doesn't come easy. It's not going to come easy. It's depicting here to be like a whole ass spiritual transformation, which is a process and takes time. And only you can do by facing it, by going within, doing that for yourself and getting to know yourself, learning yourself, connecting to your emotions and what are they telling you, what's there. So I would say that's a good starting point. It's just start to feel. Don't stuff it down. Don't think it's not valuable. Don't think it's not powerful. You need to feel everything. Again, emotions are not facts. It's just, it's information. So that's the kind of information you need to start gathering and start observing and start looking into, so you can get to know yourself and get down to the bottom of it, to whatever it is, whatever it is Spirit wants you to really pinpoint here. I feel like for all of us, it's going to be different. I was just trying to get like information on like what is it exactly. It could have to do with like your relationships, how you relate to others, how you relate to people, social interactions, social dynamics. Yeah, just relationships. How you want to be in relation to others. Like if you want to be in control, you want to be powerful. This reading is getting so long. I feel like I can talk so much about this. It's like, how are you a friend? And what is love? What is love to you? Is love something like that you think you have control over someone? That you can have power over someone? Then that's not love. And with the Hangman too. So it's kind of like you just need a new perspective, because I just feel like the way you're coming at relationships isn't right. There's a misalignment here. It's like a power game. It's strategy. It's, there's an agenda. You're trying to like get something out of it instead of truly loving someone or your friends or being truly of support. That means considering other people. That means being honest, saying the truth about yourself, and letting other people make their decisions themselves based on that. Letting people choose for themselves, decide for themselves, not wanting to have control over others. Really quickly, because I love this story and I think it's resonating here. Maya Angelou, she has this quote. I mean, it's not really a quote, it's just love liberates. Love liberates. And the story behind that little quote or saying that she invented, love liberates, is that she actually got pregnant at a really young age. She was 15 years old when she got pregnant. And her mother, she explains that her mother never once judged her. Her mother just said, okay, do you know who the father is? And she was like, yeah, I know who the father is. And she said, do you love him? are you guys in love with each other? Does he love you? And she was like, no, I don't think so. So she was like, okay. She didn't try to like force a marriage or anything. She was like, okay, there's no need to like do that to either one of you. You know, she said a baby's a blessing. And she just opened up her arms. She never judged her at all. She just said, you know, you have a home, you have me, I'm here. You can be here, I will help you. You can stay here. And yeah, you know, she just like opened her arms to her, didn't judge her. But Maya, at the time, I think she said she was like a performer, like a singer or a dancer or something like that. And she decided that she was going to leave home. She said, no, Mom, like I want to go out on my own. I want to make it on my own. You know, at this young age of like 15 or 16, you know, she didn't take her mother's offer. Usually parents in that situation would be like, are you crazy? No, you have to stay here. You don't know what you're doing. You're a kid, you know, and even as a kid, she gave her so much like autonomy, and she told her, okay, like she didn't judge her. She just let her do whatever she felt she needed to do. Like she was like, okay, if that's what you want to do and that's what you feel you need to do, then go ahead. I love you no matter what. Just know that I love you no matter what, and just know that I'm here. This house is here. You can come whenever you want. At any time, the doors are open for you. And that's where she gets love liberates, because her mother at no point did she judge her or did she try to control the situation. She let her have her choice. She loved her unconditionally. She said, go ahead, do what you have to do. And if you feel that you ever need to come back, I am here for you with arms wide open. The doors are open for you here. You have a house you can come to. And so Maya, you know, she says, love liberates. I love you whether you're right next to me. I love you whether you're in the kitchen. I love you whether you're across country. It doesn't matter. I just love you. You know, like there's no conditions. There isn't like a sense of power or control or strategy or manipulation, games, maneuvering. Love is unconditional. And that's how she learned that lesson. It was through that experience, and it was through her mother, the way her mother reacted to everything. And Maya will say, like, you know, that she went out there and she really tried her best, but life literally like chewed her up and spit her back out. And I think she ended up eventually coming back to her mom's, like to her mom's house. And her mom welcomed her with open arms. And at no point did she ever judge her. Did she ever say, I told you so? Did she ever, you know, talk down on her? Like, she just accepted her and allowed her to have her choice and allowed her to make her own decisions and just accepted her back in, no problem. And that's where that quote that I love so, so much, and that's taught me so, so much, comes from. That's the story behind it. And so I don't know, I feel like that's important here. With these cards coming out, love liberates. And I feel like we need a different perspective on that, because the way that love and is, you know, being processed or is being seen, it's coming through a really weird, faulty lens. It's very disconnected. It's very like, I just want what I want. I just want my needs to be met. I don't care. I'm not considering you. I just want the power. And that's not what true love is. And I feel like that's what the universe and spirit is trying to like tell us that are here today, whether you're dealing with this love, with a love like this in your life, or whether this is how you give love. Like, we need to reflect on this, because it's not balanced, and it's not, you know, it's not equal, it's not fair. That's not true love. And the only way we can know true love is by connecting truly to our heart, by being vulnerable enough to do that, and by learning, you know, to meet our own needs, to be strong within ourselves, not be codependent upon other people, or not, you know, try to play these power games or be manipulative to try to get something that you want, or, you know, try to have control over others, to try to control outcomes. Like, that's not at all what love is. And I feel like maybe some of us have this kind of like preconceived notion, or like we're kind of like coming at it from a warped kind of foundation, and it needs to fall away so that we can approach this and see this through a clear lens, clear vision. This is universal law, universal order. This is alignment, okay? This is what's the truth. This is what's in alignment with God. Okay, you guys. Again, I feel like this is such an important message, and it's dense, and I feel like I just scratched the surface. Like there's so much more to explore here and to talk about and to really look into. If you feel that you need more, I do personal readings. I would love to work with you. I would love to connect with you. I feel like I'm gonna end this reading here. I hope I got the point across and I did a good job explaining everything. But again, if you need more, I will leave my information in the description box below, and we can look into your own specific situation and see exactly what's going on and how we can bring more clarity and bring things back into alignment for you personally. But I hope for now this was enough to kind of chew on and just to look at, to think about, and to maybe start integrating, okay? Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to know how this resonates for you. Take good care of yourselves. And until next time, bye.